welcome on the show, Hugo. It's a great honor to have you on the show. Um, I've been meaning to have you on because I think I've been looking to find out a bit more about your immense industry footprint. Basically, I think you have a great history and journey, and you have a great influence. So I thought it'd be quite opening to hear about your steps through which, of course, the successes and possibly the failures have made you the artist that you are today. So I'm very much looking forward to finding out about your journey. So welcome on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for having me in the show. You're being too kind. Much appreciated. I really like your show as well. So congratulations for the
Thank you.
success of the podcast and for all the lovely
Thank
guests
you.
you always have. It's been a pleasure to see your journey as well. It's been a pleasure to see the
Yeah, likewise.
podcast growing as well and seeing so many
Yeah.
different voices being heard and talking in this podcast, which is
Mhm.
something always so beneficial to in the industry. So congratulations with that as well, Coffee.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
But yeah, thank you so much for having me. I guess I don't know.
Hmm.
Like I don't even know where to start. Like
Yeah, I mean, I guess yeah. I'm assuming everyone literally knows about you, but for anyone that isn't aware of you, just tell us who you are and I guess what you do generally.
oh,
So,
again, you're being too kind. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. I'm sure a lot of people don't know who I am. So I'll give you a brief introduction. My name is Hugo.
hmm
My name is Hugo Guerra. I'm Portuguese originally. Was born in
hmm
Portugal. And yeah, I've been working in the industry since '99. So it's been like
hmm
23 years now that I've been
hmm
working in the industry. I've had a lot of roles in the industry. Like I've been an
hmm
After Effects artist, a motion graphic artist. I've been an editor. I've been a
hmm
composer. I've been a VFX supervisor, a director as well. So I have a lot of hats. Originally I did what we used to do in the '90s, which is I did an art
hmm
degree. So
right.
I have like a master's in arts, and so that in Portugal, of course. And at the
Okay.
time, my dream was like to do video art and to do short films
Okay.
and films and this and that. It didn't
Yeah.
well. It worked out a little bit while I was in Portugal. I did a little
hmm
bit of that, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to pay my bills, so I had to like get a real job. I'm joking. I'm making a joke, of course. It is absolutely having a real job. It is being an artist, but
hmm
not in Portugal. Unfortunately, in Portugal is a bit
Right.
more tricky to get a living from being an artist. So yeah, so I left Portugal a long time ago,
hmm
and I went to Sweden to work as an After Effects artist. That was the only thing I knew at the time. I started
Right.
learning After Effects because I wanted to do some of my video art. So I started learning by myself. There was no YouTube at the
Yeah.
time, no YouTube,
Yeah.
no nothing. We just had to click until you find the solution.
Yeah.
So I became quite proficient in After Effects, and then I got a job as a composer in After Effects at that company in Sweden, called Animac, and then
Okay.
worked for years there. Became an art director there. Then I moved to London. When I moved to London, then I became a composer. At that time, I was already playing around with Shake, and then of course I transitioned to Nuke. I've been using Nuke since 2005, so it's been a long journey. I've been using Nuke since it's been available to the public. So
Okay.
I am a very old Nuke user. All the obviously people in digital domain or have been using it for
hmm
longer than me, but started using Nuke 4 and
Okay.
moved to London and became a senior composer working in multiple companies. I worked at Nexus, and then I worked at Jellyfish, and
hmm
came into the mill. So I was like jumping around from company to company in London between those three companies, also teaching
hmm
at Scape a bit, composting. Then I kind of like
hmm
stayed at the mill. The mill offered me a job as a head of Nuke over there. They were just
hmm
transitioning from Shake to Nuke. So I became the head of Nuke at the mill for years,
hmm
developed the entire pipeline there and kind of build that department, taking over from Darren, which was the old like the previous head of Nuke before me.
hmm
I was first deputy head of Nuke together with Juan Brockhaus, and then he left, and then I became the solo head of Nuke there, and then developed that pipeline. Stayed there for years. Then eventually became a VFX supervisor at the mill. Went on set a lot, supervised a lot of projects, led a lot of projects for commercials, for game cinematics, for short films. Then eventually I left the mill because it was kind of like not really working out for me anymore because
Mhm.
I really wanted to direct. I really wanted to have some creative control, and there's a
Yeah.
big line of people before me to get
Mhm.
into
Yeah.
that, because the mill is such a
Yeah.
legacy and big company. So
Of course.
I loved working there, but it was tricky for me to have some kind of creative control while I was there.
Mhm.
So I left
Yeah.
and became a director. Directed a lot of cinematics and game trailers and in-game cinematics for games. My passion has always been video games, so I kind of like
Yeah.
ventured into that,
Mhm.
and been doing that ever since. I kind of like split my time between being on set supervising either commercials, short films, or whatever shows up. Been a very
Mhm.
busy time lately, that's for sure.
Yeah. Of
And
course.
I split my time between that, being on set, and then directing, sometimes commercials, sometimes trailers, sometimes cinematics,
Mhm.
and sometimes short films. I've directed now 15 game cinematics so far, and of course, I have my side gig, which a lot of people know, which is
Mhm.
the Hugos Desk YouTube channel.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
thing kind of like happened out of nowhere. I had no plans or intentions to do it. Someone at the mill
Mhm.
told me like, "Ah, you should put some videos on YouTube." And I say, "Oh, what is
Yeah.
that?" Again, I started like I was like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
No plans whatsoever. Coffee, really, to be honest, like I had
Yeah.
didn't know what the hell what I was doing, and
Of course. Yeah.
started putting videos there, and it growed. It's People liked it, and it's now
Mhm.
a quite successful channel. It's not, of
Yeah.
course, I don't have cats on
Yeah.
videos, so of course don't have millions of views. But maybe I should start putting cats on my videos. But I have enough. I'm very grateful for the audience I have,
Mhm.
and for I feel like at this stage it's pretty much the biggest compositing nuke channel in the world. There's no
Mhm.
really other channel that has many views, but mostly because it's the oldest one. I think that's probably why.
Right.
So I'm
Yeah.
sorry that it took me so long to explain who I am and where I came
Not
from,
at all.
but I guess that's kind of my story in a nutshell.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other things in between
Of course.
here and there.